Before time began, there was the cube. We know not where it comes from, only that it holds the power to create worlds and fill them with life. That is how our race was born. For a time we lived in harmony, but like all great power, some wanted it for good, others for evil. And so began the war. A war that ravaged our planet until it was consumed by death. And the cube was lost to the far reaches of space. We scattered across the galaxy, hoping to find it and rebuild our home, searching every star, every world. And just when all hope seemed lost, message of a new discovery drew us to an unknown planet called Earth.
Hello and welcome to the Israelites 13 channel. I'm your host, and tonight is part 7 of Children of the Sun and the Sacred Name of God, Melchizedek, this strange figure that seemingly comes into the Bible from out of nowhere, and we're going to try to make sense of that tonight. So that said, let's go to the first slide and get started. In the Transformers movie, the clip I just showed, it shows the cube, the creation of cube. Optimus Prime says it has the power to create worlds and fill them with life. And I'm bringing this illustration here to show you what a cube is when it is unfolded. Now, I've done shows in the past, Children of the Black Cube, and I'm not referring to that. But this cube or cross of creation and salvation has a great significant meaning, and we're going to delve into that. So that said, let's move on to the next slide. We're going to go to the secret societies, and we're going to find out hidden meanings, things that have been hidden from you. And I believe through my studies that a lot of the things that were taken out of the Bible, hidden esoteric information pertaining to God, our Father in the heavens, was taken and dispersed into these different societies, these secret societies. We're going to delve into that tonight, and we're going to start with Manly P. Hall. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs from his book, and this is concerning the cube and creation itself. So we're going to start here. And remember, like I said in the last show, the Y is a Yiddish invention. It's put there to confuse you, but in the original 3 letters of our Father was an I, Iesus, Alpha, breath, spirit, Ha, of Jesus Christ. So Iesus, Alpha, breath, spirit, the Lord of hosts, the living Elohim, King of the universe, the merciful and gracious God, supreme and extolled, dweller. Well, here we have another word that has hidden meaning in it. This word dweller, this exact word was the same word that were in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the dweller. And if you break this word down, and I didn't make a slide for it, but I just, when you do this for a while, you understand the hidden meanings of these words. But each one of these are a single letter of an incomplete word. So the D would represent Adon, Adam, the W, Waha, white, the white waters, El, Ra. So it's El, Ra, Waha, white waters of Adon, our Father, Iesus, Adon. In the height, whose habitation is eternity, who is sublime and most holy, engraved his name in ordained form, and created the universe in 32 mysterious paths, stages of wisdom, science, by 3 seraphim, namely numbers, letters, and sounds, which are in him, one and the same. These numbers, letters, and sounds are the keys to creation when our Father created our very existence here in the 3rd dimension. So let's go on to the next one. It says, he drew forth from the water, he engraved and established by it the throne of glory. He fashioned the seraphim, the Ophanim, and the holy living creatures, cherubim, as his ministering angels. And with these 3, he formed his habitation as it reads. Let me pause. If you notice right here, it says that with these three, they call them letters. They're representations of the building blocks of the material world that we live in. And these three letters, we're going to delve into these big time and decipher them. But he's telling you right here, he said, who made his angels spirits, ministers, a flaming fire, the book of Psalms. He selected three consonants, I, H, V. Let me pause again. If you go back to the last show, we had the rabbi telling you that it's not a W, it's a V, another slick rabbinical trick. But if you take a W and you split it down the middle and you separate it, you have the V. And they do this because the sound, this is Yiddish, this is an invention. If you decipher this letter with a sound, like he said, he created the world with also sounds, tones, cymatics, heavenly cymatics. And if you take the W and you split it down the middle and you have a half letter here, it takes away from the overall meaning of our Father. He that sits upon the great white throne, the Father of the white waters. From the simple ones, a secret belonging to the three mothers. Pay attention to this. We're going to go back to this. Or first elements, A, M, S, H. Here they did another slick trick and they put the S here instead of the A, the Ah. So you have these three letters that are connected to air, water, and fire. And the only other element being left out is obviously the earth. Adam was made of the dust of the earth. But within Adam had the air, water, and fire of the three letters of our Father. Iesus, breath, spirit, water are the three elements of creation right in your face. Iesus being the fire, his breath being the air, and the water coming from his very essence, his footstool of the four white waters of creation into the world. He sealed them with his spirit and fashioned them into a great name. With this, sealed the universe in six directions. He turned towards the above and sealed the height with the letters I, H, W. Iesus, breath, spirit, Waha, waters, white waters of our Father. Waha-ite, white. So I said earlier, pay attention to the three mothers. And I love to always connect Hollywood and how they hide things in plain sight. What does Hollywood have to say about this? And I've done a show on this in the past, and we're going to revisit that to show you exactly where Hollywood gets this mothers, the three mothers, and how they come up with this and hide it in plain sight through entertainment, fantasy, sci-fi. So that said,
Darkseid waged war on Earth. He found a secret there, a power hidden in...
Remember, Darkseid is Satan. And they're showing you this. This is Satan coming to the earth, waging war on the gods, Adam and the sons of light, the gods, known as the pagan gods. There were two sets of them. There were Adam and his sons, the sons of light, and there was this demon here who fell and his ilk that followed him, the third of the fallen angels, waging war on the earth, and they're hiding it in plain sight through fantasy sci-fi. So continuing.
In the infinity of space, he called forth mystics who worshipped and controlled three objects, the mother boxes.
Wait. Mother boxes?
Indestructible living machines. Made from a science so advanced, it looks like sorcery. To conquer, three boxes have to synchronize and join together into the unity.
The three have to become one. That would be, in my opinion, what the real meaning of the so-called Trinity that the Catholic Church invented and came up with to hide the creational forces or the God technology our Father used to create this third dimensional earth light matrix that we live in. We do not live in a solar system. We live in a soul raw system, a system of the soul of the sons of light coming into this reality, a soul system. And these three cubes, as Optimus Prime told you in the beginning of the show, in the Transformer slide, he said, before time began, there was the cube. We know not where it comes from, only that it has the power to create worlds and fill them with life. And here in another show or movie, they're telling you right here that these three creative forces, these mother boxes, have the power to create worlds. They go back.
And so advanced.
If you look at these boxes, each one of them represents one of the elements that I just showed you. Fire with the letter Iesus, water, waha, not the va. You don't say vada, you say water. And then you have air, breath, spirit. These are the three fundamental building blocks, and you attach them to the fourth, the earth, and they create life. And Hollywood is going to tell you that through the creation of these living machines that our Father created, he can speak into them through tones and chants, and they create whatever he wants. Is this what the war of the heavens was all about? Just throwing that out there. I can't say anything conclusively, but they are sure going all out to throw these boxes. And there are many other movies where they show these cubes. And Optimus Prime told you it can be used for good or for evil. So let's let Hollywood explain to you how these mother boxes that were written and hidden into the secret societies that I just read you, how these are used to create our reality.
It looks like sorcery. To conquer, three boxes have to synchronize and join together into the unity. The unity cleanses a planet with fire, transforming it into a copy of the enemy's world. All who live become servants of dark side, alive but drained of life. Parademons.
Alive but drained of life, parademons. And it sure seems like we're surrounded by parademons in these last days of this cycle, in my opinion. It sure seems that way, though. So that said, let me back up one more and read this one more time. It said, a secret belonging to the three mothers. Wonder Woman just told you in the Justice League movie that Darkseid, Satan, discovered a secret hidden in the earth. And here they're telling you right here, a secret belonging to the three mothers or first elements. So within these mother boxes created the very elements or fundamental elements of creation of this third dimension matrix that we live in. So that said, let's continue and go back into Manly P. Hall's writings and see what he says. I'm going to briefly go over this. It says, and this is pertaining to the creation using those three mother boxes or elements of creation. He turned towards the below and sealed the depth with HIW. He turned forward and sealed the east with WIH. He turned backwards and sealed the west with WHI. He turned to the right and sealed the south with IWH. He turned to the left and sealed the north with HWI. Note, the arrangement of the letters of the great name is according to the Reverend Dr. Isidore Callis. These are the 10 ineffable existences. Out of nothing, from the Spirit of the living God emanated air from air, water from water, fire from fire, the height and depth, the east and the west, the north and the south. There are 22 letters by which the I am. So I'm going to pause here. So here they got the same slick trick here. And I don't know that in Manly P. Hall's case that he's doing this as a trick. I think that this is a part of a greater deception that even in the secret societies, I guess, and I don't know what level he was at, but I guess as you go through these secret societies, and it's not just, especially in the Masons, it's not just 33. I think there's over 360 degrees. Memory serves, it's called the Rite of Memphis and Mizraah. So that being said, if you look at the I am, and you look at how they created this word anglicized, and you bring this back into its original form, and you close this space. It's Iesus Alpha Omega. Later in the show, we're definitely going to delve into this and go to an even deeper level of the I am and explain this more. But let me continue. It says, it says Yah, they do the little slick trick Yah. Again, it's not Yah, it's Iesus Alpha. If you look at the word Yah, they do the same little slick trick on you right here. The Y should be an I. It was never a Y. This is a Yiddish insertion right here from the same people. But in its original form, it's Iesus Alpha Breath Spirit. You can say Iesus, the air of the breath spirit. And that, it's just a little side note there, but it says the Lord of hosts, almighty and eternal, designed and created by three Sepharim, numbers, letters, and sounds, his universe, and formed by them all creatures and all those things that yet are to come. Let me pause right here. Are yet are to come. In other words, our Father is always creating. He always has plans to create things. He is the creator, and that's what he does. So continuing, when the patriarch Abraham had comprehended the great truths, meditated upon them, and understood them perfectly, the Lord, Iesus Alpha and Omega of the universe, the tetragrammaton. Anytime you see one of these giant $3, $4, or $4 words right here, they are hiding something. Like I said, these are letters of incomplete words, and they have been put together into one word to hide the truth from you. They then take this truth of these words and what they mean, and they hide them in the secret societies through the levels. And this is how they control the issuance of intel and knowledge and wisdom. As our Father Jesus told you, they have hidden the secrets of wisdom and knowledge from you. And when you look into that very sentence and you dig into that sentence, the most important word in that sentence, or that phrase that Jesus said, is the word they. Who are they? And the second would be, what secrets have they hidden? And that's why I read the writings of these guys, because in my opinion, these are they who have hidden the keys of wisdom and knowledge from you. So this very word, I've said in the past, tet means everlasting, ra, ram, atan. Ram, and that is symbolic of Adam. And behold, a bull came forth from the earth, and that bull was white, and his name was Atan, Adon, Adam. And it says, the Father of the universe appeared to him, called him his friend, yes, but his son, kissed him upon his forehead, and made with him a covenant. So let's go to the next slide. And we're going to get into hold on a second. Let me try to clear this up, all the thing here. There you go. We're going to go back to the they, and I am not advocating any of these people, nor am I advocating any group or secret society. I simply am telling you, in my opinion, where they've hidden this. And researching their writings, I was blown away by the things that I found so far. And I'm still on the trail. I'm not going to stop. But I'm going to bring to you the findings of who this Father of light, who this sun god. Some people out there, charlatans, will tell you, don't worship the sun god. No, you don't worship the actual sphere of the sun. You worship the light that emanates from the sun. He that puts the white light energy through the sun, who sits upon the holy throne, Iesus, Alpha and Omega. And this individual, Albert Pike, who the church tells you he was a devil worshiper, and like I said in the past, I have not found any evidence of that. I understand that he has written about Lucifer, and like I said, that is a Latin word, and magically they couldn't translate that word into an English equivalent. Makes no sense, therefore in my mind very suspect. I know what it means, but I haven't brought it forth yet because the brainwashing is so powerful. And I told my friend Mike this, the brainwashing is so powerful from Judeo-Christianity and from the devil, the prince of the air, that if you even attempt to tell people what it really means, you would be labeled a heretic in a split blue second. And I'm not afraid of being called names. That doesn't mean anything to me. I have a very thick skin, very, very hard armor. It means nothing to me. But I'm just bringing that to your mind, that these words that Lucifer, he's not the devil. It's only in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, one time in the King James. But that said, let's get into Albert Pike right here and see what he says, who the father of the Aryan white race is. So he says, and this is from the Vedic writings, in his study on the Vedic writings, the Veda, by its language and its thoughts, supplies that distant background in the history of all the religions of the Aryan race, which was missed, indeed, by every careful observer, but could only formerly be supplied by guesswork only. How the Zarathustrian religion had its origin, and while inculcating the worship of the Supreme Being, Ahura Mazda still permitted fire to be a symbol of him. So, like I've said in the past, words and symbols reveal and conceal. And within this word is the name of our Father. If you read it right, they tell you Ahura Mazda. You know, I'm well aware of the car brand that culturally appropriated this word from our Aryan race. Little side note and humor there. But if you look at this word, Mazda, and you read it right to left, it's A-D-A-M. Adam, the Z is the last letter of the English alphabet, which makes it the omega, the last letter, the beginning and the end, the A to the Z. I am the first, the last, the beginning and the end, hidden in the word, different levels for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. Ahura Mazda, Adam, Omega, Ra, Ha, Ah, breath, spirit. I read in one of Manly P. Hall's books something that was mind-blowing and literally is verbatim what I've been doing, and I discovered on my own before I even read this. But he said something very interesting. He said words, he goes, that they unlock mysteries. He said if you put the key in to the lock, in other words, that there are hidden secrets locked within the word, and you turn the keys 7 to the left, 7 to the right, and 7 back. He said they unlock the mysteries. What's he telling you? The same thing that I've been saying, that these letters are 2 letters, or they're sequences of letters of incomplete words hidden in plain sight. So continuing, how the Buddhists came to protest against temples and sacrifices, how Zeus and the Olympian gods came to be what they are in the minds of Homer, or how such beings as Jupiter and Mars came to be worshipped by the Italian peasant, we can now understand by a simple reference to the Veda. Pay attention to this very close, what I'm about to say. The original religion was the adoration of the supposed, not the supposed, but the adoration of the superior beings. So the original religion worship of the Aryan race were to the gods, Adam and his sons in God form, before he broke God's commandment and was thrown down into the world from a being of pure white light energy into a flesh body that concealed the white light energy on the earth. So their religion in ancient times, our race, the Aryan race, was the superior beings of the gods. And they weren't pagan gods. That's, if you break that word down, Adam's name is hidden in that as well. But it's just a disparaging term to make our people stop praying to them when Adam's rule fell. And I totally understand that. I'm not telling you to pray to the gods. I'm not telling you, you're the captains of your ship, and I'm not going to call you names and disparage anyone because you have a difference of opinion than me. I'm not an intellectual fascist or a freak show on a power trip. So that said, let me continue. It says, the superior beings of which fire and light were manifestations. So fire and light were these superior beings were of the fire and light of the sun, and they were manifestations of the Aryan race. He goes on to tell you the Aryan name for God, because like I said in the past, you cannot find it in the Yiddish bastardized Hebrew of modern day. And I don't read Paleo Hebrew, but I can make out the Latin. And he tells you right here, the Aryan name for God, Deva, is the original of the Latin Deus, as Deus is the Greek Zeus, and Varuna is the Oronos of Hesiod. So Albert Pike, one of the smartest men of his era that could read and write 7 different languages and could decipher the ancient text in their original form, is telling you that God's name is hidden right here in the Latin. And that's exactly what I read to you in the last show. I said it's ridiculous to try to find it because they hid the name. They took attributes of God and they made up this name Yahweh, YHWH. But like I said, they're letters of incomplete words. Put in the key of wisdom and knowledge. Jesus told you they've hidden the keys of wisdom and knowledge from you. And Manly P. Hall tells you, you put the key in to the word and you turn it 7 turns to the left, 7 turns to the right, and then 7 back. And these words, when you break them down, that's metaphor for deconstructing these words, like tetragrammaton. And Albert Pike is simply telling you that he found the name of the deities of the Aryan race and their creator, their father, as Deus, and it is connected to Zeus. They are one and the same, the Father and the Son. Jesus and Adam had the same name. He named his son after himself. Adonai, Adam, Adam. It's the same thing. And Varuna, let's look at Varuna. Ra, Anu, A-N-U, Ra. And they put the V here in their tongue, their pronunciation of their language. But it's Anum Ra, Zeus, Deus, Deus, Jesus, Iesus. Right in your face, hidden in plain sight. It's right there. Continuing. The religion of the Veda is not the source of all the other religions of the Aryan world, for it was itself an advance, an improvement upon the successor of the more ancient faith, as the Sanskrit is not the mother, but the sister of the Greek and Latin languages. All of our language and Proto and Indo-European languages come from one root language. And that's what I said last week, the last show I did. What language did the sons of Noah speak? Of Ham, Shem, and Japheth and Noah. It was this original root language here that is a dead language. And to my understanding, there could be someone out there that knows what it is. I haven't come across it yet. But we're going to get into that, and he's going to tell you exactly, because Albert Pike was an expert on languages, in my opinion. Are there others who outshined him? Sure, of course. But I'm not going to get into that rabbit trail. So let me continue. But we can watch in the Veda ideas and their names growing, which we meet within Persia, Greece, and Rome, only as full-grown or fast decaying. We get nearer to that distant source of religious thought and language, which has fed the different national streams of Persia, Greece, Rome, and Germany, and clearly see that the human mind has made a great advance. So let me stop here. Remember that the human Amun kind, the sons of Adam, when they were cast out from being these gods into flesh beings in the third dimension, just like with everyone else, he's telling you that their minds had made great advances when it had come to worship. Not the fire itself, not the ball or the fire or the flame itself, but the unseen an intelligent spirit of the fire. Who's the spirit of the fire? I am the light of the world. I am the bright and morning star. Iesus, Alpha, Omega, Jesus Christ, our Father, is the sun god, of which the light was deemed a manifestation. Right in your face, hidden in plain sight, once more, in the secret societies. So that said, let's continue. Sons of the White Waters, El Ra'is. The Veda is certainly the second oldest book in the world, and it contains the religious hymn of our ancestors. For we, of whatever mixture of European blood, are wholly of the Aryan race. Pay attention to this, because like I said, there are charlatans, irrelevant charlatans out there that will literally tell you if your eye is this color, that color, whatever, and it's all a system of control in their warped mind to control others because they're broken individuals that have suffered some type of trauma in their life, and they're just in their little bully pulpit lashing out like a weak, pathetic, dried up prune. And that's what they do. And you have to shrug that off, and you keep researching. And through research and seeking our Father's face, you find the truth. You don't need a man on the earth sitting on YouTube or some low-level channel telling you that what God is or who he is or who your Father is. You are the sons of light. You can find that yourself through hard work and research. Continuing on my little rant there. Pay attention. He says they're a mixture of the European blood, are wholly of the Aryan race. Germans, Gauls, Franks, Latins, Saxons, Celts, Slavic are all of one blood and family. And the English and all other European languages and Sanskrit, Zend, and Persian are but varieties of one and the same original language, produced by intermixers with various others. Our spiritual kith and kin are to be found in India. He's not talking about the dark-skinned, melanated individuals there now. He's talking about a light-skinned group of a sect of the sons of Seth that were there. India, Persia, Slovenia, Greece, Italy, and Germany. So that said, let's go to this ancient mosaic. So these charlatans will tell you, oh, if your eye is this color or that color, blah, blah, blah. And it's ridiculous, uneducated, low-level IQ gibberish, not understanding genetics of our race and getting their theology just from other YouTube channels and never actually reading a book. But when you get into the research of this actual mosaic here, this is if not the oldest mosaic of King David, and it was found in Gaza, discovered in 1965. And when they originally found it, they took pictures of it, and that was key to the restoration of this, because shortly after it was discovered, the face was destroyed. Right here, the eyes and the nose and the mouth were smashed out, and some of the hands were smashed out to hide the fact that he was white with European traits. And if you look at his eyes right here, they're not sleepy eyes. He has nice oval eyes, and they're brown with red hair. And here, he has a halo coming out of him. In other words, a representation of the white light emanating from him. As Manly P. Hall just told you, the white light emanating from the gods. Albert Pike echoed the same exact thought. He said the same thing. This halo here is a representation of the white waters, or the white light of he who sits upon the great white throne. The Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, Nordic, Basque, Lombard, and Germanic peoples of the earth, the white sons of Adam, the Atlantean white race of Adam, through the line of David. Okay, the ones that live in the Middle East today and claim to be the tribe of Judah are not the descendants of David. This is the oldest known mosaic, and here you can see with his brown eyes. Now, his son Solomon had blue eyes. because it's the same genetic strand of the four rivers of white light genetics of Jesus Christ, he that sits upon the great white throne. It's right in your face. And if they did not have this picture that they originally took, they would never have been able to reconstruct it. And like I said, anytime there's something found of significance with our race, you have the rabbi response team that shows up and they either destroy it, they hide it, or they use their money powers to take this over, hide it from you. Thank our Father in the heavens that when this was found, that he was smart enough to take pictures of it. But those pictures were key to the reconstruction of this when they started in 1992. So that said, this is supposedly King David found, they say in a synagogue, negative, it was found in a temple, not a synagogue. It was found in a temple of the sons of light in old Israel. So that said, let's continue. Deus, Zeus, and Iesus. Let's get into the actual word and a little bit of the history of it. The word Deus and Zeus both come from the Proto-Indo-European word Deus, which means God. Explanation. Remember what I told you about the word God. Reversed, it's dog. We're going to get into that in a couple slides. Zeus, the name of the Greek god Zeus, comes from the Proto-Indo-European word Deus. In Greek, the letter D evolved into Z. Okay, these letters don't just evolve. Like Albert Pike told you, he said that all of our Proto-Indo-European languages come from one source. But there was a great splitting of the sons of Adam, and they moved all over the world. Just like our Father prophesied, we'll be in the north, south, the east, and the west, all over the world. This happened. And it's living proof today. We're being attacked now by all the triple S people coming into our countries trying to wash away the seed of the woman of the white waters. Little side note. But he's telling you that eventually these languages, when we had contact with each other again, they combined. It was an intermixer of the language and produced different languages: Italian, Latin, Greek, German, High German, you name it. I'm not an expert on all the Proto-Indo-European languages. There's a lot of them. I'm just giving you the background of how they all started. So that said, he tells you the word Deus. He says Germanic cultures translated Deus into the word God. Related gods. Deus, the sky god of Hinduism, mentioned in the Rig Veda, written by the sons of Seth, not the ones that are there now. They've usurped it and they pretend it's theirs, but it's not theirs. Jupiter, pay attention to that name right there, Jupiter, the Roman god equivalent to Zu, Pater, O Father Zeus. The Latin word Deus, pay attention, comes from the Proto-Indo-European Deus, which means celestial or shining. Deus, pardon me for butchering that, comes from the root daiu, which means to shine or be bright. I'm going to back up, and this is what they're talking about. Celestial, those who came from above. The white lights of the white waters, the light emanating from him. I showed in a picture of myself in the past that the Most High allowed me to see the white light emanating from my body in the pure dark. I have pictures of it. I'm not going to bring it again, but I have it in the videos. I'm not being an egomaniac freak bringing this to your attention, only as an example that our people, every single one of us, of the children of Jesus, have that light that dwells within these flesh bodies, these suits that we're in. And it says to be bright. That is the true meaning of Israel. El Ra'is. The El is the white light that emanates from within you. So that said, continuing. Adam hidden in the Zohar. I'm going to give you an example of how they've taken our book, because the Zohar, if you look at the name, we're going to break it down. I do not have a slide for this. But like I said, Zohar, Omega, O, it's O-H-A, the breath spirit of Ra, the writings of the sons of light, of the sons of the Omega. Jesus was the Alpha and the Omega. And they've taken it and they hide the meaning of these writings. They usurp them They took them from you and they wrote themselves in and claimed these books as their own, and they are a fraud. They're identity shape-shifting frauds. And I'm going to give you a classic example of this right out of our book that they usurped and called their own. The sins caused him to go down to the lower levels and slay the lion. Remember, the Bible says that Satan goes about the earth as a roaring lion to see who he can kill and destroy, blah, blah, blah. Yes, the black lion. That's also written in other texts. He was also known as a black lion. He could shapeshift into anything he wanted to. But for the sake of understanding, I'm going to change the lion to serpent or dragon. Okay, his name is not Lucifer, it's Satan. There are a lot of charlatans that use that word, Lucifer, and they literally have stopped using the word Satan. But your Bible clearly tells you that Satan is the devil. Satan is the devil. Let that sink in. When you listen to people, you have to have a filter, you have to have discernment. The sins caused him. Who's him? The Most High. They disrespect our Father, and they don't call him Iesus, Alpha and Omega, the creator of all, the Most High. It says the sins caused him to go down, Jesus Christ, to go down to the lower levels and slay the dragon, because the dragon refused to give up its prey before it is as though he killed it. So who was his prey? Who did he make fall? The gods, Adam and his sons, the sons of white light, the Atlantean white race of Adam in God form. They fell, and upon their death, they were cast into the pit for 4,570 years until he came down, Jesus Christ, came down to the lower levels and died on the cross for Adam. I'm going to go off into a side note here. If you look at this sentence right here, it says the sins of Adam, or the sins of the dragon that caused Adam to fall, made him, Jesus Christ, come down to the lower levels. So we're going to go into the Ethiopic text, the books of Adam and Eve, and I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs. I haven't made slides out of them, but it definitely pertains to this and will give clarity. So it says, this is Adam giving his son before his death, after 930 years in the flesh, instructions on what to do with his body. He says, this is Adam saying this, but oh, my son, let those whom it will leave out from among your children at that time take my body with them out of this cave. And when they have taken it with them, let the oldest among them command his children to lay my body in a ship. Then they shall take my body and lay it in the middle of the earth, shortly after they have been saved from the waters of the flood. Why the middle of the earth? The middle of the earth is Jerusalem. That is where God, or the Most High Jesus Christ, took elements of the earth with his breath, his spirit, the water and the fire of his light, his son Adam. And it said that when he rose, his face shined like the orb of the sun, and light came out of his eyes, and he stepped upon Jerusalem. And there's a sacred esoteric meaning for Jerusalem. We're going to go through that. But let me continue. So it says, after the waters of the flood, for the place where my body shall be laid is the middle of the earth. That's in Jerusalem. Now pay attention for those people that tell you, Jesus is not God, right? Part 4,596. They will tell you that. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just having a little fun. But there are charlatans out there that their whole channel is about dethroning our Father. And it tells you in these ancient writings right here something very specific. I'm going to read this again. For the place where my body shall be laid is in the middle of the earth. God shall come from thence and shall save all our kindred. Does that sink in? It didn't say he came for the world. It didn't say the Son of God, the S-O-N. Okay, even though he came through the bloodline, it's very complicated. And you have to really study hard and pray hard for God to give you the understanding, for Jesus Christ to give you the understanding. But I'm going to repeat this one more time. God shall come from thence. And he's telling you here in the Zohar, the sins caused him, who's him? The Most High, Jesus Christ, to go down to the lower levels or to the earth. Down. That's the key word. And he tells you, God shall come from thence, come down, and shall save all of our kindred, the Atlantean white race of Adam that were in the world. Not of the world, but in the world. All the different continents, on all different continents of the face of the earth, the Atlantean white race of Adam are everywhere, just as our father prophesied. And this tells you specifically, God himself would come down in a flesh body, in a flesh avatar. The dweller, he from above, would come down and die on the cross for his sons and daughters on the earth. Our Father is incredible. There's no one greater than our Father. Praise Jesus Christ. No one, period. That said, the reason I brought that to your attention is because these texts, if you attach them, they all connect. If you understand and you can see patterns, there are patterns everywhere. You just have to have the eyes to see them, and you have to have an open mind and decouple yourself from dogmas of men, especially evil men that want to control you. It is as though he killed it. Therefore, assuredly, he, Jesus Christ, slew the dragon in the midst of the pit in front of the eyes of the other evil side. So remember, they reverse everything. To them, good is bad. To us, they're evil. Okay? Them, they call us evil. So this is the rabbi that inserted this, and they are speaking of their father. They said, in front of the eyes of the other evil side, and because the other side saw this, it gained courage. Now pay attention to what I said about God, and sent a dog to eat the offering above the altar instead of the dragon or the black lion or Satan and his children that were on the earth, that they usurped it. They took it. It wasn't made for them, but they took it in jealousy and rage because who is this Adam? I will not bow to him. I was made of fire. He was made of dust. Right in plain sight, right in your face, they're putting it there. Continuing, it says, and what is the name of that lion? And they put Oriel. Yeah, well, I've never seen that name in any text. So, that's another inserted fraud. So I'm going to insert the true word. It's Satnael. Satan, not Lucifer. Satan is the devil's name. The black Satan. He that was cast out from the heavens. His light was taken, and he was cast into a black avatar suit upon the earth. The father of the Y ghost chromosome of the melanated people of the earth. I'm not saying that in hate. That's a fact. As he had the face of a lion, he was a shapeshifter. He could come as anything. He came to Adam, if I'm not mistaken, as a pack of lion and tried to tear them to shreds. When he was in the flesh, it says, and what is the name of that dog? Okay, remember I said dog. I got a little sidetracked there. Dog. So you read dog right from right to left, it's God. You read God left to right, it's dog. And what's his name? It's Baal Adon. So they do another slick trick and they leave one of the letters out. But if you separate it, this word right here is hidden a greater meaning. It's Baal. They took out a letter, but it's 3 letters of an incomplete word. Baal, oh, that's the devil. No, that's a title. It means Lord. Baal, and if you break the word Baal down, it doesn't matter the title. What matters is the word that goes after us. Carl and I said that 1,000,000 times. Carl caught on to that bingo. I'm one of the smartest guys I ever had the pleasure to do a show with. Excellent individual, and I hope he's doing well. Just a little side note there, but putting that out there, this word Baal, if you break it down, is Abba El Adon. is its name, because Baladan is formed by the same letters as the words Baal. They're telling you they do word play, letter play. They scramble, they make anagrams and acronyms, and they hide things from you because, like I said, they're smarter than we are in cunning. But our Father said, be wise as these serpents. He didn't say be a serpent. He didn't say if I show you things, wisdom and knowledge, that you use it as a power base over others and you degrade them and call them names. Baladan is its name because Baladan is formed by the same letters as the words Baal. And notice in parentheses, not and Adam. So, Adam, and then they try the man trick. Not Adam. It's not him. No. It's man. But in reality, it is Abba El and the son of Adam. But if you look at this word, they've deconstructed it right in front of you. And then the lying pen of the scribes, they tell you, they give you the meaning. Adam means man. No, Adam does not mean man. Adam was put into the earth as a man, but what makes Adam different than the other men upon the earth is the white light from our Father, Iesus, Alpha and Omega, who sits upon the great white throne, the great white spirit. That light is within his sons, the children of Adam, and they've deconstructed it. This word right here to fool you. And they came up with this Baladan. Oh, and you think, I'm looking at it, so it has to be one complete word. Slick rabbi trick, and they prey upon our ignorance because our people don't think in these terms, in these evil, like, let me come up with a word and slice and dice it in 57 different ways to confuse the stupid goy. And these bastards never stop. That's all these son of a bitches do. That's all they do. And I've come across this a million times already. And I'm so glad that I found this because this is a classic example of what I've been saying in my shows, that's how the enemy fools you. He who controls the language, the words of the past, control the present and the future and your understanding thereof. That's a fact. They know that. You don't know it. They know it. Hopefully now you do know it. And hopefully you can use this technique that I'm showing you to figure out the lies of the devil. And this is one of his tricks that he uses through his sons, the lying pen of the scribes. And it's right here, Baal, Adon. It's not Adam, but if you take that out and you read it in its complete original form, it's the letters as the words Adam, Baal and Adam. It's with the final meme exchange for none. And now listen to it. This is what they think of us. They tell you, and it's not a human being, but a dog with the face of a dog. I could just hear their stupid voice saying that. And in reality, your enemy always uses, like I said, SSP, self-sin projection. I want that little acronym to catch on so bad. Self-sin projection. That's how they mentally defeat us. And this is what they do. They always cast on you their sins to give them cover while they're doing evil. And here they're calling you a name. They're attacking us, a disparaging. We're calling us dogs. We're not human. But like I said, if you look into the word human, it's A-M-U-N-H. And that literally means ha, breath, spirit, breathed into Amun, our Father. And that breath can only be seen if God resonates your DNA, vibrates it to a higher level, and that white light will emanate from your body. It's pure white. And no one can ever take that from you. No matter what they call you or what stupid, pathetic name they call you, tough guy behind their little bully pulpit. But if you've seen them up close, they would never say anything because they're cowards, but they use their pulpit to attack people. And here's a classic example of Satan's children. This is what they do. They don't use wisdom and knowledge to elevate people. They use it as a control mechanism. And that's exactly what this rabbi is showing you here. He's not a human being. It's a way to dehumanize you, because these devils are the fallen angels in the flesh. And yes, I found that in a hidden text. I've never brought it forth. It's very controversial, and I'd probably get a ding on my YouTube channel, but in reality, I could give two shits less if I have a YouTube channel. I'm not doing this for fame or glory. I do this from my heart because in my opinion, we're in the end of a cycle, and I got tired of seeing our people getting their ass handed to them intellectually, and what's the good of knowing things if you don't share it with other people? So that's kind of my motivation for even doing these things. I don't get paid for it, and nor do I want to, but that's just a little side note. But your enemy always uses this tactic. They call names. They will call you a dog. When you hear someone saying that, you know that's an Ashkenaz demon. You know it is. A brother or someone that loves you would never disparage you or put you down. That's someone that's someone's subconscious demonic mind pouring out. And anyone who has any dealings with this, like I said, never let anyone call you these things. People will do to you what you allow them to. Start loving yourself. Stand up for yourselves. Do not let people treat you in any certain way or in disparaging term or any type of mental abuse. You only live once, and you should surround yourself with positive people. People that are going to build you up, not destroy you. You don't build yourself up by destroying other people. In the eyes of the Most High Jesus, that's going to get you sent to the pit of hell faster than anyone. I've heard people, they use their pulpit, everyone's going to hell except them, but the Word of God says you will be judged the way you judge others. So that said, off my little rant, let me go to the next slide. I'm going to give you the esoteric or a esoteric meaning of the name of Adam. Okay, and how it connects to the I am. So we're definitely going to go to another level here. And I didn't come up with this right here. I definitely came up with this, but this I got from, like I said, the secret societies. And where did I get that from? Manly P. Hall. One of the smartest guys I've ever read on. If you want to go to the next level in understanding and wisdom and knowledge in hidden esoteric things that pertain to our Father, start reading his stuff. I'm not saying, start praying to him or follow whatever religious dogma that he believed, but there are nuggets of gold in everything that this guy says. You just have to cherry pick. You have to use discernment. So that being said, let's get into this word, I am. Like I said in the past, Iesus, Alpha, Omega, you flip it upside down. Yes, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they found the same exact word, but there was no space. But the actual translators took this word, and I still believe they flipped the W upside down, and then they put this word, they separated the I from the AM. But in its root form, it's Iesus, Alpha, or Adon, Adam, and the M, even after they flipped it, that's the genius of our Father. They can flip this symbol, but it still has his name in it, no matter what way you turn it. And this is why in the letter V, he said, no, it's a V, not a W. And what they did, if you flip this upside down, it's a W. If you split it right down the middle and you separate it, you have two V's. And the word loses its power of pronunciation, of cymatic sound. It loses its meaning by its separation. So you have a half a letter, half words. And that's what they've done. But our Father in his genius, if it's left in this form, IAW, flip it upside down, you have Iesus, Alpha, Messiah. Now connecting that with his son, Alpha, Adam, the first Adam, we have right here, we break the three letters down from Manly P. Hall. Because like I said, I'm not an intellectual thief. But that being said, if we get into the word that I got from Manly P. Hall, not being a thief and giving him credit, you look at the letters, they're letters of incomplete words. Adam, it's the first Adam, Alpha, D, David, M, Messiah. So from the first Adam, he fell. And through the line, through David, the sons of light, who kept their bloodline pure, and Noah was pure in his genetics of the generations of the the Gentiles. Another anagram word scramble, through the seed line of David, through the white waters, the Messiah was born of the lion, the real lion, the white lion, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. On another level, in Adam in its original form is Adam, Alpha, first Adam, David through the line. The second Adam came through, and he was known as the Messiah. Our Father is a genius. Now, I got this from Manly P. Hall, and I just added the Alpha from the Bible. And when you learn these things from the secret societies, it expands upon the understanding of the first and the second Adam, or the Bible itself. He tells you here, and I titled this Adonai, or Adam's name in the heavens. And he says, Ath Gabor Leulam Adonai. Pronounced, a learned Hebrew says, Atah Gabor Legnolam Adonai. So if you're learned, according to the rabbis, now I don't know if these were the original Hebrews, the sons of Seth, all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but he says the learned Hebrews amongst you would pronounce it in this way. So yeah, they change a little bit. So obviously Pike has gotten a hold of it in its original form and translated it into English. And then he does something very interesting, as any good researcher would do. He's going through ancient text to try to find out what this meaning is of this name. Very interesting. I was blown away when I saw this. He says, Thou art mighty forever, O Yahweh. So this has been altered. We have the Y Yiddish and the V, the W that's been deconstructed. But if you put it back, it's an original form. It's IHWH. It would be Iesus, breath, spirit, Waha, white, the great white spirit. I went through that last week. I'm not going to get into that again, but if you want to know the breakdown of the word and its origins, watch the part 6 I just did. So it says, the initials of these words form in Phoenician. He gives you the Phoenician writings because, yes, he could read and write Phoenician. The word suspended in the east, Ardar El, angel of fire. Now, this fascinated me when I saw it. I couldn't believe he was saying this. And it showed a level of humility from this guy. And I was like, man, I kind of like this guy. He's very humble. He's not an arrogant dipshit talking down to you. He sounds like just a regular guy. And he's telling you, I do not find this or the other 3 names of angels anywhere in the Kabbalah or the book of Enoch. Now pay attention. They must be combinations of other words. Bingo. I have been saying that over and over and over again. He understands that these words, these big, long $3 words that they put together, tetragrammaton, this, that, and all these different words, he understands that they're combinations of other words. I also read in the Secret Society, in one of these secret books that they hide, they tell you it's a devil book, and it very well could be. I haven't read the whole thing, but it tells you, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, within this word, he's talking about the word abracadabra. And that's another, like a big $7 word there, abracadabra, because it has our Father's name in it, and they're hiding something from you in that word. But he says, what you see in front of you is 10 words into 5 words, into 3 words, into 1 word. Now, I know I just totally butchered that, but like I said, I'm just paraphrasing it. I don't remember it exactly. But he's telling you that there are hidden words within these 1 word. So there are two letters, 1 letter, 3 letters of incomplete words sandwiched into a word to hide greater esoteric meaning for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, and that the Most High finds worthy. I'm not saying I'm worthy or not. I'm just trying to make sense of why someone would go through all the trouble of hiding these words like this. And Albert Pike is telling you right in your face, they must be combinations of other words. But what? It is difficult to say. And he's telling you that this word, because he read Yiddish, means glorious, magnificent, amplitude, magnificence. With the Persians, it was the name of the 9th month of the solar year and dedicated to fire. It was the name of the angel, Lee says he's using another source, who had charge of the sun. Oh, he's speaking of the sun god, Jesus Christ and his son, Adam. I think, therefore, that this name should be Ad-Ar-El, the glory of the fire of God, the glory of fire of God, of the sun god. Fire comes from the sun. And he's telling you right there, he's telling you, I don't know what it is. It's got to be a combination of words, of letters, but what? And if you read further in the book, he says, I hope someone in the future deciphers this. And I'm not being arrogant, but in my mind, from my research, I'm answering the call, Mr. Pike. I'm answering your question. Let's break the word down. And he's telling you they're combinations of words. He says, Ar, Dar, El. What does it mean? He went into the books of the Kabbalah. I'm sure he went into other books, Zohar, anything he could get his hands on to find out the meaning of that word. Who is this one who's in charge of the sun, this angel in the heavens? And if you break it down, and I'm surprised he didn't figure it was right in front of him, but like Manly P. Hall says, keys of wisdom and knowledge. You put the key into the word. You turn it 7 times to the right, 7 times to the left, and 7 times back to the right, and you open the lock. These are locked secrets within these symbols. They reveal and conceal. And he's saying, what? What does it mean? I can't find the word, because these words were even hidden from these guys. And I don't know, I know he was the founder of the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. That doesn't mean that you're the all-knowing poobah of wisdom and knowledge. Only our Father, Jesus Christ, is the all-knower and the all-seer. You get the gist of it. But just looking at the words and deconstructing it, he says, I believe it should be Adrael. And he was right. Let's go back one more time. He says, I believe it should be Adar-El. Okay? He was very close, but he didn't understand 7 keys, 7 turns to the left, 7 turns to the right. And what that means is some words you read right to left, some you read left to right, some you read up and down, some this way, diagonal this way, and you get the meanings. They're codes. They hid them from you. And they laugh. Stupid goy. They laugh at us. They'll never figure it out. We're smarter than them. We give them fluoride in the water to dumb them down, give them bone cancer and lower their IQ, and they love it. They brush their teeth with it. Stupid goy. Anyways, if you look at the word Adar-El, you look at this word, he was very close. All he had to do was reverse this word and anglicize it left to right. Ad-Ra-El. And if you want to go to the next step and you break the word down, you have to separate them. So you have Ra, so remember 7 left, 7 right. So you go here, Ra, and now we have here Adon, so it's right to left. Adon, you have to unscramble it. So it's right to left here, anglicize it left to right. It's Adon, 2 letters of an incomplete word. And if you add the sun onto it, it's Adon. And here we have Ra, and then El. So what's the meaning of it? The sun who came through the sun, the line of the sun. Adrael. So the true meaning is Adam, Ra, El was Adam's name in the heavens. Oh, that means he was an angel. People will say that. Some people will say, well, that means it's an angel. Well, what is an angel? Break that word down. There was only one in the heavens that was created in the right hand of the Father. And that was his literal son from his own genetics. You can say that the sons of light were from him. But yes, they were spoken into existence. Adam was different. It says it in the hidden text that when God made Adam, the angels feared and trembled, that we're going to see something incredible, something glorious today. The Father spread out his right hand, took elements from the earth, the dust of the earth, and he breathed the breath. He infused his white light genetics into his son in the right palm of his hand. And in the heavens, he was known as Adam Ra'el. And God commanded, and Jesus Christ commanded all the angels, bow, they'll say bow to my image, or in other words, bow to my son, pay him reverence. This is my son. Our Father started his own family. And the other angels all did exactly what he said. Michael, being the most awesome angel, the most loving angel of all, bowed his knee and obeyed his father. Yes, Father, boom. And they all did it. And I showed you in the last show of the Arabic painting, the only angel that would not bow was the black angel, the black sun, the father of the black cube, Satan. So Adam's name in the heavens was Adam Ra'el, the name of God. The title God, as it originates from the Old English word God, which itself comes from the Proto-Germanic word Gud. The original Proto-Germanic word, if you research it, is Gouda. It's G-U-D-A. And if you read it right to left, it's A-D-U, Adug. In their vernacular, in their tongue, that's the way that in the Proto-Germanic it was spoken. And it's another derivation of Adon, Adum, Adam. So continuing, meaning the concept of a deity was present across the various Germanic cultures long before the term was written down. The earliest known written form of the word appears in the 6th century, Codex Argenteus, a Gothic translation of the Bible. Ulfilas, a Gothic translator, was the first to use the word God to represent the Latin word Deus in a Bible translation. The word Deus comes from the Proto-Indo-European word Deus, which is also the root of the name Zeus. The word Deus was translated into Germanic cultures and eventually became the word of God that they use for God. So I believe that this word was somehow altered by the same Masoretic scribes from Gouda, and they turned it into the anglicized this word God right here, and they use it to this day. I just showed you in the Zohar as a disparaging term against us. So that being said, let's go to the next slide. Jesus is the sun God. I'm going to give you examples all throughout the history of the church of different church fathers and other researchers and academics of their time would use the name Jesus and attach him as the sun God. He was the sun God, the S-U-N. So that said, Jesus Christ came from God, I-A-O. I've already went into that. He's giving you an example right here from 4Q120. And he's saying, among the Judeans, and I like the way it should say, among the Judahites, the God was called by the name of I-A-O, Diodorus Siculus. Iesus, what is the name Iesus? Iesus, Alpha, Omega. Jesus, Alpha, Omega. Iao stood for the sun. That's right. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. I am from the line of David, the bright morning star, the sun. The Gnostics did use the name of Iao to express Jesus Christ, Dr. John W. Colenso. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness, the S-U-N of righteousness, arise with healing in his wings. Malachi 4:2. Here we have an illustration of the winged sun disk, seal on a wine jar from the reign of the Hebrew king Hezekiah. not Jewish, but Hebrew. Jesus is the sun God, and he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his garments became white as light. His garment, his body, his earthly projection from above turned into pure white light. So the light that dwelled within our Father, when they went up on the Mount of Transfiguration, he gave them a taste of his true divinity. And this light, this white light, came out of his body. And like I said earlier, every single one of the sons of Iesus, Alpha and Omega, have this white light that dwells within them. Every single one of them. Here's an ancient picture right here from a church. They have Jesus in the middle, in the sun, and all of his children and the angels of the cube right here with a cross over it. They all have these halos of sunlight. This is basically the light, the white light of the Father emanating into his children. They're from his genetics. He is the Father of light, therefore they are the sons of light. Israel, El Rais. The El is the light that emanates from the Son God, our Father, Jesus Christ. I'm not telling you to pray to the ball of light, the orb of the sun. I'm telling you, like I said, it's a lens. It's a lens, and the light that emanates from that lens is our Father, Jesus Christ. They're showing you that in this painting right here. In the heavens, God set a tabernacle for the sun, the S-U-N, a tabernacle, not a synagogue. They actually got it right here. A tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. That's interesting. His circuit unto the lens of the sun. Just throwing that out there, food for thought. To the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. This was a very popular Bible verse with early Christians when referring to Jesus Christ. Jesus as the Son was stressed repeatedly, not only by non-Christians, but also by Christians from the onset of Christianity. The cult of Sol Invictus, the invincible sun, became dominant in Rome and in other parts of the empire during the early parts of the 2nd century AD, and evidence abounds that Roman sun cults influenced Christian thought and liturgy. The Atlantean white race of Adam, the children of the sun. So I'm going to move the mug here. Let me move this over here so I can see it. And I just showed those small clips there, those slides of the sun. And I'm to give you an understanding of what that means. I've said in the past that the children of Adam, the projection point that we come into the earth matrix is through the sun. Some come through Saturn, some come from underneath, some come from other points in the universe. But these pyramids that you see all over the earth, in my opinion, they're literally racial reality, light energy projection pyramids. And to me, it has something to do with the very creation of the known world and the known universe here, and our entrance into this third dimension of the material realm. So that said, the sun, our Father, is very prevalent in all the ancient Christian writings. And Jesus was known, as I just showed you with countless examples, he was known as the S-U-N. Yes, he was the S-O-N, but not in the literal sense. He was the Son of God and they were two separate people. No, I just read from the books of Adam and Eve, from the Ethiopic books, that God himself was going to manifest into the earth, into the flesh, to save the kindred of the sons of Adam. And that's exactly what he did. And that's what the crucifixion was all about. So that said, the actual sun itself, the light that I'm showing here in this slide, is the projection point of the sons of light. And we come through this in the soul, our souls, like Jesus said, you have to be born from up above. And when the mother's impregnated, this light goes into the soul. The angel escorts this soul from this bit of light, this orb, this sphere, and puts it into the mother's womb, into the child. Your body is nothing but a ghost suit. It's an avatar. And the light that's in it controls it. Wrap your mind around that. Some people are clumsy. Are they clumsy because they've never gotten used to being in this suit? Very possible. But Manly P. Hall, he has a very, very interesting take on the sun. And this is through his deep research. And I was blown away when I read this, and it literally piggybacks onto what I've been saying. And it's very interesting, and I'm going to share it with you tonight. So let me start. It says, some secret orders. So he's well aware that there are secret societies, like I've said, hidden esoteric wisdom and knowledge have been hidden in the secret societies. Some secret orders have taught that the sun was inhabited by a race of creatures, of beautiful sons of light, inhabited by a race of beautiful humanoid sons of Jesus, with bodies composed of a radiant spiritual ether, not unlike in its constituency the actual glowing ball of the sun itself. The solar heat had no harmful effect upon them because their organisms were sufficiently refined and sensitized to harmonize with the sun's tremendous vibratory rate. These sons of God resemble miniature suns, orbs. So when you see these orbs flying around, some people say they're demons. And the reason they say that is because they have not been found worthy for God to show that to them. So they lash out like the little devils they are, and everything that they don't understand is a demon. Instead of doing research into it or actually experiencing it yourself, they call it a name. Another side note there. So continuing, it says, these creatures, these sons of God, resemble miniature suns, being a little larger than a dinner plate in size, although some are more powerful and are considerably larger. Their color, pay attention to this is key. Their color is golden, white light of the sun. Waha, IHWH, Waha. Put the W and the H together and add ites, which means sons belonging to a certain tribe, and you have the word whites. That's what it means in Yahweh. And Manly P. Hall is giving you esoteric secret knowledge right here. He's telling you the color of these orbs that come through the sun, their color is a golden white light, and they emanate from Jesus Christ, he that sits upon the great white throne. That's in your Bible. But they're only giving you one part of it. You remember in the book of Revelation, how long do we have to suffer? These devils on the earth that killed us when we were alive down there. And he says, wait a short season, and gives them white raiment. White. In other words, heavenly bodies of pure white light. I've shown that before. God showed me one of his angels before. And does that sound batshit crazy? Yes, but it's the truth. I showed it. I have evidence of it. I've showed it to you. And he has beautiful gold blonde hair, milk white skin, and he has a raiment of pure white light, emanating light. And Manly P. Hall is telling you their color is the golden white light of the sun. And from them emanate, pay attention, and from them emanate 4 streams of vril. Now, this is not the creature that it's a monster they put on your eye and squirt black stuff in your eye and you become a demon. Okay, that's like low-level dipshit gibberish. He's speaking in this sense, not of a demon. He's speaking of light. I think light would have been a better choice of words, but he's telling you that the 4 streams that come from the sun, 4 streamers of white light. He says these streamers are often of great length and are in constant motion. A peculiar palpitation is to be noted throughout the structure of the globe, and is communicated in the form of ripples to the emanating stream. So he's telling you, when you see these things and you try to take a picture of them with the naked eye, it looks like they're vibrating, because these are beings from the higher dimensions that are at a higher vibrational frequency of existence, thought, and being. Okay, our Father is a being who created the dimensions, and his vibratory rate is off the chart. Not even the angels can withstand it. You're talking about a being that speaks, and he has control of the material world of light projection and can congeal that into physical forms just from speaking it. Wrap your mind around that. That's how incredible Jesus Christ is. That's our Father. That's our Father. If he's with you, no one can stand against you. Remember that. So continuing, a peculiar palpitation. So when they, like I said, backing up, when they take pictures of these things, which I'm going on like 9,700 pictures of these, and then when you try to film it, you can see them vibrating at a higher vibratory rate. And he's calling it a palpitation. It is to be noted throughout the structure of these orbs, of these globes, is communicated in the form of ripples. So the vibrations look like ripples of light. And to the eye of the untrained, they have no idea what they're seeing. And it says, to the emanating streams of light, the greatest and most luminous of these spheres is the Archangel Michael, and the entire order of solar life, which resembles him and dwell upon the sun, are called by modern Christians the archangels, or the spirits of light. That is bombshell. This is a guy that they told you, he's a devil worshiper. Don't listen to him. And what that is demonic propaganda trying to scare you so you don't read what he's saying, because they don't want you to know this. Because from this knowledge, in my opinion, and no, I'm not a Gnostic. I don't like labels. They're very constricting. It's a joke. They limit you. I don't like labels. It's horseshit. I don't label anyone unless I don't like you. Then I have many labels for you. That's a little side note. So continuing, I bring the information out because I want you to raise and ascend on your own. You don't need someone on top of you, a phony pastor over you. You are the children of light yourselves. And through wisdom and knowledge, you can ascend this material world. Our Father has promised that. But first, you have to believe he is your Father. He is the Father. And there are many charlatan frauds, workers of iniquity and darkness, that tell you he's not God. And they're full of shit. They're liars. I've given you countless examples. Research this on your own. You don't have to take my word. Find out for yourself. Research it. Get into these other books. Look up Manly P. Hall. Look up Albert Pike. I'm not saying pray to these guys. If you see something that's shady, dip, get away from it, run from it. But there is hidden wisdom and knowledge, and our Father Jesus Christ told you they've hidden it from you. And you have the key. The key is your mind. The key is your prayer. The key is you wanting to know the Father and to seek his face. If you seek him, he knocks on my buddy Mike told me this. He knocks on the door and he'll come and he'll sup with you. He opens doors for you. You pray. Now I'm butchering that verse. I know the verse. I'm not going to look it up, but you get the gist of it. But you have the key within yourself. You have to spend your time wisely. If you sit around your house drinking beer all day, watching Ooga Booga run up and down the football field in some rigged bullshit football game like I used to do years ago, and now I watch football and I hate it. It makes me sick. I can't watch it for 2 seconds. But that was in my youth and my ignorance. And that's a part of this life journey. But you have the key within you to learn. When you die and stand before the Father, You tell him, I love you. Look what I've done in your name. You don't want him to tell you, depart from me, you worker of evil. I've never known you. Get out of my face. You don't want the Father to tell you that. Spend time, seek his face. And I promise you, it will pay off for you. I'm not trying to give a lecture or sermon, but I feel it within my heart just to share my insight or my feelings, how I view the Most High God. And I can tell you many times my Father and your Father has delivered me from the hands of darkness and evil. Anytime someone has ever tried to lay a hand or do something evil on me, it comes back on them sevenfold. And time is the great equalizer. It may not happen when you think, but when you do evil to people, trust me, it comes back on you sevenfold. So refrain from darkness, refrain from evil. The Atlantean white race of Adam, God's chosen people. So this is a very interesting book right here. I want to read this to you just to show you how they've hidden who God's true children or his chosen people are on the earth. A horse naturally gives birth to a horse, kind after kind. A human, Amun kind, naturally gives birth to Amun, children of Adam. A god naturally gives birth to a god. He's talking about the children of Adam. The bridegroom within the bride gives birth to the children who are born in the bridal chamber. Now pay attention to this. I did not write this. I'm just bringing it to you what they're telling you. The Jews do not spring forth from the Greeks, the generation of the Els, or the Christians, those belonging to the sons of light, Jesus Christ, the light of the world. Those do not come from the Jews, the Christians. These who gave birth to Christians. So whoa. I thought to be a Christian, all you had to do was believe. No, he's telling you to be a Christian, it's genetics. And you came from these gods who came from Amun. That's what this is saying. Those who gave birth to the Christian, the Atlantean white race of the children of Adam, were called the chosen generation of the Holy Spirit, the Most High, Jesus Christ. The true Adam, the son of Adam kind, was the seed that brought forth the sons of light in human Adam, Amun form, Adam kind in man form. This generation is the true one, the true chosen ones in the world. This is the place where the children of the bridal chamber dwell. That is bombshell. That is next level neutron bomb explosion on those who lie and call themselves Judah. Those who call themselves Jews but lie. I didn't write this. He's telling you those who give birth, the women of the white race, the physical flesh projection portals from above through the sun, who gave birth to the sons of light. Christian, that means sons of Christ, Jesus Christ, the light of the world. I am the bright morning star. We're called by who? Him, our Father. You are my chosen generation, and you are of the holy white waters of my spirit. The true Adam, the true children of Adam, the Atlantean white race of Adam, the sons of Adam kind. Here they're doing the man trick again on you. No, Adam kind, Amun kind. We were the seed that was brought forth from the Son, the sons of Amun, Adam, through his father, Jesus Christ. This generation, they are the true ones in the world. This is the place where the children of the bridal chamber dwell. Praise Jesus Christ, our Father. Oh my goodness. I'm just showing you what's hidden in the text. So that being said, let's go to the next slide. I'm going to show you here that Jesus is God in a mosaic in Israel ancient Israel that we call Israelite today, not the land, but the people who claim to be the sons of God, that in this land that there was a mosaic and they hid it by building a prison over it. Little side note before you watch it. But go ahead and watch this, and it tells you point blank that Jesus is the Father.
For students. When I heard about this mosaic and read the story behind it, I got the same kind of chills and the same kind of goosebumps.
Historians like the Museum of the Bible Scholars Initiative director, Dr. Bobby Duke, described the Megiddo mosaic as the greatest discovery in Israel since the Dead Sea Scrolls.
What's something people don't know about this exhibit or may not know?
I would say the question we get asked the most often, is it real? It does date back to the 3rd century, AD 230.
A period before Christianity became an official religion of the Roman Empire. The Megiddo mosaic features a table used for communion and a design showing 2 fish, early symbols of Christianity, with handcrafted geometric patterns.
To make the designs that we see even around this flooring here, I mean, that takes hours and hours and hours.
The mosaic likely decorated one of the oldest Christian prayer halls in Megiddo, a city located in Canaan. In the 1940s, this site of ancient worship became buried under a newly maximum security prison, where it remained for 60 years. Then, in 2005, archaeologists accidentally rediscovered it.
They're wanting to...
I have to pause. Then accidentally, archaeologists found it. There was a prison built on top of it. You think that the imposters over there didn't find that? Of course they did. So what did they do? They built a prison over it. But that just shows you the incredible wisdom and knowledge of our Father. He's the Alpha and the Omega, and he allowed this to be seen in the future. They literally built a prison over this and hid this from you. Continuing.
do some construction. And whenever you do construction in Israel, you have to do a salvage archaeological dig to make sure that you're not constructing over something significant.
They carefully excavated the mosaic, hiding it securely in northern Israel, until flying it here for a first public appearance.
Show us some of the exciting features, the inscriptions.
So the first one right here is dedicated to a man named Iesus.
Historians say he was a Roman centurion who helped fund the mosaic floor and table, a rare show of unity between Romans and Christians. The second inscription describes some key women in early Christianity, while the third marks history.
The table is dedicated to the God Jesus Christ. Now this phrase, God Jesus Christ, is in the fifth line of the inscription, and it is actually in a shortened form, so the letters that have the lines over them, it is actually a respectful way to write those words.
Dr. Duke believes these early writings are some of the first to show belief in the deity of Jesus, with this inscription from a Christian woman identified as a Keptis that reads, God Jesus Christ. The Megiddo mosaic is one he hopes will open up a world of possibilities for future discoveries.
I think the thing that excites me the most is we never know what the next excavation is going to show and demonstrate. No one before 2005 would have ever dreamed we would have found something as beautiful and significant as this.
Wow, that video was incredible. And it gives you archaeological proof and evidence that the people of the time of Jesus knew that he was God. And this was hidden from you. So in this mosaic, and it's written in ancient Greek, we have two very, very interesting symbols here. And we're going to get down into the breakdown of all these symbols in the Greek letters, and they have a meaning. We have the same meaning here. So it says in the Greek, Y is represented by the letter upsilon, which looks like a Y, but it's pronounced with U, and the X is represented by the letters chi, C-H-I. Magically, that same sequence of letter is in Melchizedek, little hint, and then the X, which sounds like the KH or the Ah. Okay, so it's pretty much redundant. So we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to break down this word, exactly what it means. So here we have the meaning of the Jesus is God mosaic. So we're going to translate on this slide right here. We're going to actually translate and decipher what these ancient Greek letters mean. So back to 4Q120, the IAW, Iesus, Alpha, Omega, I am, the I am. And they have it right. Let me see. They have that same symbol right here, right there in the letter. So the W is the lowercase omega in the Greek language. So we have the I, which equals Iesus, Jesus. We have the Y, Yelos, or Son, the S-U-N. We have the C-H-I, the C for Christ, the K-H, or the A-H sound, breath, spirit of Jesus Christ. So we have the white, the W, right here, the omega, Wahai, has a dual meaning, white, omega, the beginning and the end. So we have Iesus, S-U-N, Son, breath, spirit, omega. And it tells you in this right here, Jesus, the God Jesus. She just gave you the literal translation of it. But if you break the Greek letters down into their meanings, it tells you exactly his name. And this is, like I said, they're single letters of words, of incomplete words. And you have to understand the codes or the meanings of these words. And you do that through hard studies. Let's go to this gentleman's channel right here. And he has something very interesting pertaining to the name of the Most High. So,
welcome to Expedition Bible. I'm Joel Kramer. Today we're going to be talking about an inscription that's not very well known but very significant because it provides direct archaeological evidence for Jesus of Nazareth. So there's an area that's located to the southwest of Jerusalem and about 5 miles east of Lachish. In this area is an archaeological site called Beit Loya.
Side note, I'm interrupt here. If you look at all the names in this area where he's looking for evidence of Jesus, the Father, Adam's name is everywhere. We have it here, A-D-A-M, Adam. Adam-ul, that's El Adam. We have breath, spirit. We have right here, Am, Amara, Ha, Amun-Ra, Ha, breath, spirit. We have breath, spirit right here. But just to give you an example, like I said, Adam's name is everywhere on the earth because the earth was made for Adam. And the evidence is overwhelming. It's all over the planet. So that said, continuing.
Today we're going to be talking about an inscription that's not very well known but very significant because it provides direct archaeological evidence. And it's in one of these caves that has a fig tree growing out of it. You actually have to climb through the leaves of this fig tree to get down into the cave where you can see on the side of this limestone wall this huge Greek inscription. In fact, there's a shot of me walking between the camera and the inscription that shows you just how big this inscription is. Fortunately, this inscription has been published. It starts with a simple cross, a very early version of the cross, followed by 2 Greek words, all of them in uppercase Greek letters. The first word is a name, and it's translated Jesus. The second Greek word is translated present. So this inscription is translated Jesus is present. There's another cross, a fancier cross underneath the inscription that is believed to have been added later. The inscription dates to the end of the 2nd century AD or maybe into the beginning of the 3rd century AD. So we're talking about the late 100s to early 200s AD. Very early inscription. It is at the very least one of the earliest inscriptions mentioning Jesus, possibly the oldest inscription mentioning Jesus. So now why is this inscription underground in a cave? Because it dates to the time period when there was intense persecution by the Romans.
not by the Romans only, the rabbis who riled up the Romans.
Against Christians. So the church often met literally underground, as they did in this cave. Now, how do we know that the Jesus in the inscription is the Jesus of the New Testament? Well, it's the symbol of the crosses that begin and end this inscription.
So that was a very interesting bit of information there, archaeological information about the name of Jesus. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide here, the esoteric meaning of the name Melchizedek. And anytime I see one of these words, these giant, like I said, $3, $4 words, you know that it's a hidden, my opinion, I see it as something hidden within the word. And this word has always stuck out to me, this mysterious character, Melchizedek. He comes from out of nowhere. Nobody knows who he is. We're going to go to an unlikely source. And like I said, they have hid the keys of wisdom and knowledge from you. Who is they? Number one question that you ask yourself. So we're going to go to they, and we're going to read what they say about Melchizedek. So he says, King of Salem and priest of the Most High in the time of Abraham. He brought out bread and wine, blessed Abram, and received tithes from him in the book of Genesis. Reference is made to him in Psalms 4, blah, 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 victorious rulers, declared to be a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. The story is neither an invention nor the product of a copyist error. That's what he says. But rest upon Jerusalemic tradition, as Josephus affirms, and he gets into some other sources, Genesis, he says, Zedek being an ancient name, that's key. Zedek is an ancient name of Jerusalem. So when you look at the word Melchizedek right here and you split it, this word has a hidden meaning, and it's from they. He's telling you that. So he tells you, a Jerusalemic tradition. Let me find my place. Zedek being an ancient name of Jerusalem. Now this is key. Probably connected with the Phoenician Zedek. He gives you the Phoenician writings of Zedek equals Zedek, but then something very, very, very cryptic here. Well, not really even cryptic. It's just right out in the open. Zedek equals Jupiter. Wow. So the Phoenicians would use the name as Zedek to identify Jupiter. Who is Jupiter? Said that about 1 million times. It's Adam. That's where Adam was created. In Jerusalem, Jupiter, Zedek, Jerusalem. Adam is the most important character outside of Jesus Christ in your Bible. When you understand that, a whole world of understanding just opens up to you. But if you stay in the Judeo-Christian understanding of it, like I said, you're in the rabbinical mind prison. And I don't know what to tell you, but just adding that, if you look at this word Jupiter in the Phoenician, which is identical to the Paleo Hebrew, they called Zedek Jupiter. So continuing, it says Buddhism, blah, blah, blah. He's going through some more sources, hence, and he gives you another rendition of the name here. Ir-ha-Zedek, Nu-a-Zedek, Sha'ara-Zedek, the city's first king, accordingly was known either as, this is bombshell right in your face, hidden by those who took the keys of wisdom and knowledge from you in their own writings that they disseminate between themselves. It tells you right here that his name was Adonai Zedek. Adonai Zedek. Where Adonai Zedek is the correct reading, or as Melchizedek. Okay, that's a tongue twister there. But the original translation that he tells you, Adonai Zedek, then they took attributes of the Most High, like I said, 2 letters of incomplete words, and they came up with this sequence of words and made the name Melchizedek. But in reality, his name is Adonai Zedek. Adam was created and ruled in Jerusalem. It said that when God created him in his God form, Zeus, the god Zeus, that his face shined like the orb of the sun. Light came from his eyes. And when he stepped his first foot down, it was in the middle of the earth, known as Jerusalem, where our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, would be crucified. Over the skull of Golgotha, or the skull of Adonai Zedek, or the body of Adam in Jerusalem. Adam is a very, very, very important figure in your Bible. Adonai Zedek is the correct reading. The fact that he united the royal with the priestly dignity. Royal, that means royal bloodline, royal right to rule those who came from above. But to the Jewish propagandists of Alexandria, who were eager to win proselytes for Judaism, so their new made-up religion, without submitting them to the rite of circumcision, Melchizedek appealed with a special force as a type of a monotheist, of the pre-Abrahamic time, or of non-Jewish race, like Enoch. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I thought Enoch was Jewish. I thought he came from the holy line, and they're telling you, no, Enoch was not. Enoch was not Jewish. Well, then how could Abraham be Jewish? Because Abraham was not Jewish. Judah wasn't even born yet. According to this, how could Abraham be Jewish if Judah wasn't even born? That obviously came Isaac, Jacob, and then his son Judah. And they lay claim to that. They lay claim to that. And on a side note, I told a friend of mine, Mike, we were talking, and a thought came to me. If you attach other texts like the Apocalypse of Moses, where he says, my children, they should choose me, but they hate their own blood. If you notice, this group and other groups all over the world, they claim to be the children of Israel. There's a very small percentage of white people that actually claim that birthright. I myself am included in that small number, but I think as knowledge grows, I think our people will understand that they are of the children of light. And I asked my friend Mike, I said, bro, do you become, just a thought, I threw this at him, by not accepting your birthright or claiming your birthright, do you not become a spiritual Esau? And he was like, Joey, that's a good question. I said, I'm just throwing it out there, bro. I'm not saying yay or nay. I don't want to speak for the Most High. That's up to him. But he said that they should love me and they should choose their own father. But they hate their own race. So by you allowing these frauds, these fallen angels in flesh suits to claim the birthright, and then you got the Hebrew Israelites in their purple suits and shits, and they're out there saying, we be, and blah, 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 and all this garbage, and you don't claim the birthright, you're leaving it to or as they said in the Zohar, to the dogs. I'm using their terminology, but Jesus told the Canaanite woman, or the Canaanite woman, he says that the food is for the children of light, not for the dogs. That's a paraphrase, but you can find that. And he called her a dog to her face. Just throwing that out there. So they're telling you here that Enoch was not of their race because he was of the Gentiles, of the generation of the Els. He was an El. They're not Els. I just read that to you. They're not of the sons of Christ. They're of their father, Satan. They admit that. In the Gospels of Nicodemus, Satan tells you himself, I riled up my old people, the Jews, to kill him, to kill Jesus. I sharpened the spear and the nails, gave him gall to drink, blah, blah, blah. You can look it up. It's there. I'm not making this up. I was blown away when I found this stuff years ago, and I couldn't believe it. It gave me a whole different view, and I realized I was being lied to. And I'm bringing a lot of that evidence to you, and you can make your own mind up. So I'm not going to get into his Messiah ben Joseph, and these are all inventions. Messiah ben David. No, that's all Cohen. It's another slick trick. Cohen means priest. They're not priests, they're priests of darkness. The singular feature of the supernatural origin is ascribed to all four, in that they are described as being without father and mother, without descending and having neither beginning of days or end, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to go through this, whatever, you can pause it and read it yourself for time constraints. Abraham learned the practice of charity from Melchizedek. Philo speaks of him as the Logos. So could he have been a Christophany of Jesus Christ? Sure, he could have been. Could he have been Shem? Yeah, I mean, they say that in their writings, that he was Shem. Or, coming outside of two-dimensional thinking, could this have been just a title given to the sons of light? It's a legit question. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying it's etched in stone, but could this be a title just like Israel is a title? Adam was the first Israel. Not even the CI masters will tell you that Adam was the first Israel. And he was the father of our race. The rabbis of later generations, rather antagonistic to the cosmopolitan monotheism of Alexandria. Yeah, because they've always been antagonistic towards the sons of light. Nothing new. And I guarantee you, they're the ones that burnt down the libraries of Alexandria so they can create their new religion, Judaism. And like you said, they were trying to get proselytes for their new religion, even if they weren't of the Jewish ilk, and start a new control system of the mind known as the rabbinical mind prison. So a little side note there. But it said, identified Melchizedek, the rabbis themselves identified Melchizedek with Shem, the ancestor of Abraham. A singular story is told of Melchizedek in the Ethiopian books of Adam and Eve, which, before it was turned into a Christian work, seems to have presented a strange combination of Jewish and Egyptian elements emanating from a sect afterward known as the Melchizedekites. Noah tells his son Shem. Okay, I'm not going to get into this. They kind of bastardized this meaning. You can go into the Book of the Bee and you can find the actual story of Adam and what he told his son of who this Melchizedek is. And in my opinion, it very well could have been an individual, or it could have been an individual that had the titles of the attributes of the Most High to hide the fact. Like I've noticed that I've seen a constant theme in the Bible and in these other books to hide the identity of Adam and his importance in the world. So that said, let's move on to the next slide. The esoteric meaning of Melchizedek, the priesthood of Jesus Christ. So as I told you earlier from the Jewish Encyclopedia, that his original name was not Melchizedek. That's an invention. His original name was Adonai Zedek. So here we have Adonai again and Zedek. So Adonai of Jerusalem. So let's break it down. 2 letters, incomplete word. Adon, I mean, you can, I'm just breaking it down. Obviously it's Adon, E, or with the I, but it's A-D, Adam, on, son, S-O-N, of the S-U-N, and then the Omega, Jesus Christ, Iesus, the first Adam. Then we have Zedek, we have the Z-E, the first 2 letters of Zeus, and also the last letter of the English alphabet, which means Omega. And then we have the D, which is 1 letter of an incomplete word, Adam, Adek. So we have Adon, Zedek of Jerusalem, Adam, for he was created, and his first step on the earth was from Jerusalem. And in my opinion, he was the first Adonai Zedek, the first king who ruled from Jerusalem and actually all over the world. He could go anywhere. He would fly anywhere in the wings of the morning, or the ship that he had, and he would go anywhere. And there's actually, I've read things where he could shape shift as well. And that's also in Greek mythology that they tell you is mythology. But Zedek, they told you in the Jewish Encyclopedia that it was Jupiter. Jupiter was the Roman name of Zeus. Zeus is the literal in the Hebrew name is Iesus, and his son was Adam. Right in your face, hidden in plain sight. So next slide. Let's go to Melchizedek and let's break it down. Remember what I told you in the Greek? You had the CHI, in the Greek. And you have here Ma'el, Omega. You flip it, Messiah, you flip it upside down and it becomes Omega. So this letter has a dual level of meanings just by its position. If the middle of the M is pointing down, it's Messiah. If you flip it up, it's Omega. As above, so below, right in your face. We have El, Deus, Gouda, Adum Ra. Gouda is A-D-U-G. Adug in the German slang, or Adum, if you get rid of the G and you anglicize and add the M, it's Adum, Adam, what it means. We have the H, which is breath, spirit of Jesus Christ, and we have the I, which means Iesus. So that's the first Adam. And here we have the second Adam, Zedek. Now, some of this is repetitive, but you really have to break these words down to get an understanding of what the lying pen of the scribe has done to hide the father of the white race of Adam and to hide you in general. They don't want our people to know this. If every one of our people understood this, all of a sudden, the Bible has a totally different meaning. Totally different meaning. Just food for thought there. So Zedek. So we have Zeus. We have the same thing. Adam, E-D, E-M. Get rid of the K. Blah, blah, blah. So we have Zedek, Jupiter, Zeus. We're going to go to another level of the meaning, of the esoteric meaning of the name Melchizedek. So Melchizedek, you break these words down, like I said, over and over and over again. Each one of these letters have a significant meaning. They're letters of incomplete words. So we have M, Amun, Al, El, K, Kappa. In Paleo Hebrew, I looked up this letter. It means in the palm of the hand. Well, who took a nail in the palm of his hand? Our Father did. For the freedom of his sons, Adam and the children of light. So we have the K, we have the I, Iesus, we have the Z, Omega, and we have E-D, E-K, Adon, E-D, Adam. So the rabbis literally told you that the correct pronunciation of the word Melchizedek is Adonai, Adon Zedek, Adon Zedek. They pulled a slick trick on you and created this word by taking attributes of the Father, and this is a rabbinical invention. The rabbis in their own encyclopedia just told you the true meaning of it. So why would they do this? To hide your identity. How can they pull off a scam? How can they pull off the greatest scam of all time and assume your identity? They do it through the words. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Those who control the language. What is language? They're words. What are words? They're symbols. They're sounds that come from an original thought. And if you control the language, the way people communicate, you can control the minds of the individuals, of the people that you rule over. And how do they do that? They use God as a hammer against you, and they do it in the words. You think they haven't gotten a hold of these books? Of course they have. You can see that on low-level irrelevant channels. If you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, you're going to hell. If you do this, you're going to hell. If you don't eat on this day, on this time, that's a rabbi telling you that. Anyone that tells you that and tries to assume control over you, that is the enemy. They use words to do it. I'm just giving you a brief understanding, a brief example of how Satan's children work against you. And they control the language, therefore they control your mind, so they control the past, and they control the present and the future. Our people have been in the Judeo-Christian church for thousands of years now with the mindset that Jesus came for everyone and he died on the cross and he died for your sin. And when you get into the other text, they tell you it had nothing to do with that. He died for the children, for the sins of Adam and his sons on the earth. And what was the sin? Just transgression of the law. He mixed the holy seed. He wanted to be God. He tried to steal the Godhead. Him and Eve did the same thing. They wanted to be God. Is it possible that Adam is the one that said, I will be like the Most High, the five I wills? We know Satan tried to do it and got his ass handed to him. But he, according to the ancient text, he went to war with God over Adam gaining control of the earth. When you understand that it's a power over the earth matrix, this fight for power, this Bible makes a lot more sense to you. Just throwing that out there. Let's go to Zedek again. So Z in Phoenician means weapon, crown, sword. And I added this of Jesus and his son Zeus, Adam. Zedek being an ancient name of Jerusalem, another esoteric name, Jerusalem, probably connected with the Phoenician Paleo-Hebrew, Zedek, Jupiter. Jupiter. Why would they call Jerusalem Jupiter? Because Jupiter is Zeus. Zeus is Adam. Adam was the king of the world, and he was created and came forth in the land, the holy land of Jerusalem. Let that sink in. So let's go to the next slide. Hidden esoteric meaning of Jerusalem. Jerusalem. And I fell into this back in the 90s, watching Alex Jones. And I was watching Alex Jones before people even knew who he was. And he tells a lot of the truth. But when you start talking about the you-know-whos, his sleepy eyes give him away every time. And I still like Alex Jones, don't get me wrong, but you have to have discernment when you watch him. So there's a lot of truth-based propagandists out there, and that's how they get you in. They with the truth, they talk your language, truth, and then they bait and switch your ass. That's exactly how they do it. A little side note there. So let's look at the hidden meaning of Jerusalem, okay, with the Great Seal. And the reason I bring up Alex Jones is because back in the day of him and all the conspiracy they'll tell, oh my God, this is the symbol of the devil, of the Illuminati. And look, it's the Star of Baphomet. Ooh, it's the devil. And look at this eye, it's evil. Well, if you look at the eye, it's white with blue. So what are they telling you? That the white guy with the blue eye is the devil? That's exactly what the propagandist demons are telling you in the Great Seal. And these seals are some of the original seals that were put onto your dollar bill. That came from Truman, from Wallace, and then all the way from the Russian mystic known as Rorik and blah, blah, blah. You can look that up on your own. But these symbols are the symbols of our race. The outstretched wings of the eagle from the book of Revelation, E pluribus unum, the 13 stars, the 13 arrows, the 13 leaves on the olive branch with the 13 fruits. Okay, the 13 tribes of Israel. If you go into Thomas Jefferson's writings, his second inaugural speech, March 4th, 1805, he tells you, I shall need to the favor of that being in whose hands we are, who led our forefathers as Israel of old from their native land and planted us here in this new land full of milk and honey. It was the land of everything. So Thomas Jefferson understood the esoteric meaning of these symbols. These are racial symbols. These are racial symbols of your race. We were in Egypt. Our race was there. From the time Atlantis went down, from the time that Moses led the children of Israel out, we were there. It's in your genetics. You can do a DNA test, and those are not accurate at all, but they give you a ballpark of where you come from. And they'll even tell you in your genetics, which leaves microevolutionary traits of all your ancestors of where they lived before, and it'll tell you the lands that they lived in. And you will find Egypt. If you're a true son of Israel, this will be in your genetic makeup. Period. There's no and if or buts about it. It is there. So these symbols, like I said, you got the red, white, and blue, the colors of Israel, the shield, the breastplate. You got the 13 feathers, the 13 stars. And it literally tells you right there that these arrows, that this is the house of Ephraim, the house of Joseph. They got here from the tribe of Dan, the boats of the ships of Dan. And we are all of this olive branch. So each one of these 13 olives right here represent each one of the sons of the children of Jacob. And they are the Atlantean white race of Adam through the white waters of the heavens, the four rivers of waters from our Father's footstool, Jesus the Christ. The word Jerusalem, and you break it apart, it's Jer, J-E-R, and this is one letter of an incomplete word. Jesus, the land of Jesus, Ra, Son, S-U-N, Son, the Son God Jesus, United States of Amun Ra, the eye of Amun Ra, of Iesus, our Father, USA, El Amun. You take the first two letters of America right here, A-M, two letters of an incomplete word, Amun, R-E, Ra, Amun Ra. Right in your face, it's there. It's hidden in plain sight. And the propagandists, the frauds, they tell you, these are the symbols of the Illuminati, the evil ones. So they're telling you that the white people are evil. You've even got sons of Cain. I saw this fat charlatan with gray hair, this son of Cain, son of a bitch up there saying that we need to get rid of the Constitution, and it was written by a bunch of stupid white guys, and we need to do it like South Africa. And the first thing he would get rid of is the voting districts. So in other words, like Wesley Swift told you, they would outvote you 100-1. And that is a son of Cain. This is not a new battle. We've gone through this before with these demons since God put us here in the flesh. It's never stopped. And it will only stop when the tares of the field are removed. And you can look at the agricultural definition of the word tear, and it's point blank right in your face. But I told you earlier that they have hidden a lot of things of our race in the secret societies. You come into the world and you are an initiate, and you are trying to raise yourself out of the three-dimensional material flesh realm. How do you do that? Wisdom and knowledge. You have to seek your Father. Information and knowledge. Bacon said it himself, knowledge is power. He got that from the Emerald Tablets. And if you look, symbols, like I said, they reveal and conceal. And they tell you the secret name of God, and they put it right in front of you. L, you go up to the top of the heart that's inverted. You have the I. You don't have a Y. You have an I in its original form. It hasn't been touched by the rabbi. And if you follow the word, it's I-E-S-U-S, Iesus, Jesus, Jesus, El, Jesus, Jesus, El. You come to this word and you start from the I. Imanu, Imanu, it's a word scramble. They scrambled the word in the secret society. So the lower adepts or the lower initiates, the neophytes, that's what they call in their book, neophytes, they would look at this word and go, Manu, what is that? And Manly P. Hall told you the keys of wisdom and knowledge. You take the key, you put it in the word, 7 turns to the left, 7 to the right, 7 to the left again. So we come to this word and we start at the alpha. The A is the alpha. A-M-M-U-N, Amun. We come to the outside of the light within this heart, the heart of our Father. Yes, they have the bastardized form of the square letter Hebrew here, and I don't read this language, and I am not going to spend my time trying to decipher that. But I understand what this symbol means. If you look at the symbol, it's the heart of the Most High, is what they're telling you, and we have light emanation coming from it. The light, the sun God, El, Iesus, Amun, Christus, Christ, right in your face. So the secret name of God hidden from you is El, Iesus, Amun, Christus. El Iesus, Jesus Christ, Amun Christos. We went over that last week in some of the hidden text, and here it is again, right in your face, hidden in the secret societies. So that being said, thank you for watching. This is going to end the show tonight. I have one more slide, and it's going to end this series. I really appreciate all the people out there for their support. May Jesus Christ, the Father in the heavens, bless you in all your endeavors. God bless. Good night.
Earth, after the war. 3 years have passed since I saw your face. I wonder if I come to you at night in dreams. In the day, as memories. Do I haunt your hours the way you haunted mine? And I wonder if you see me when you look at her.
Mommy, look.
If we have souls, they are made of the love we share. Undimmed by time. Unbound by death. For 3 years, I searched for the house he built. I knew it had to be out there. Because I know him. I am him.
Who's that?
I am Jack Harper. And I am home.